Hello, everybody. This is Jay with Guilty of Crime, and I'm going to play my intro first.
You are about to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off in the fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hello, everybody. As you just saw in the intro, it's Jay with Guilty of Crime, and I have some new things going on. And I'm feeling patriotic today. So the new background, we're going to do a American flag. I thought that was very suiting. I haven't picked the background. I might change it around a bit, but happy Friday to everybody. I have some new things going on. So if there's any glitches or anything, bear with me. Today we're talking about Madeline Soto and the press conference. Well, I've been talking to some of you, and we feel like it's a nothing burger. I didn't even get to watch it at the time. I had, luckily, Sadie's mama messaged me because I was busy. But after I watched it and thought about it some more, the things that they didn't say are very telling. So we're going to get into that, and we're also going to do a memorial. You guys have your paper towels, your wipes, your shirt, whatever you got. You might, I might give you some tears when you watch this videos of little Madeline when she was younger, and videos from her birthday party that day that a friend has already talked to the police about and shared the video. And I'm sure there's more if this is what we're seeing now that we just don't know about. So let me start with a press release that everybody probably saw. I'm only going to show 11 minutes and 50 seconds of it, just so that we can watch it together. 1 second, and then we'll, all right, technical difficulties. I'll figure this out, but we're getting there. I've got a new thing I'm doing here and just pressing the wrong button. So let's get the volume set for everybody. And since we're on a live, not unalive, we're on a live. Don't confuse the two. By the way, as I'm doing this, everybody knows Riley Strain was found today, and his body was found. So at least they know what happened. That's not saying a whole lot. That is terrible, but he was found, and I'm sure all of you already know that because you're all the crime crew and you're all on YouTube and the news. So let's watch this video together and then we'll talk some more. Rest in peace, Riley Strain, and prayers to his family, everybody.
Everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Alibet Suarez. I'm the Communications Director for the City of Kissimmee.
Yep,
Chief Betty Holland will be providing remarks about the progress of the investigation. After that, she will open the floor for questions. We are not doing one-on-one interviews after the press conference. If you have any questions that are not related to this case, please send an email to kpdpio@kissimmee.gov. At the end of the press conference, you will receive a package with information about the case in English and Spanish. Now, I would like to introduce Chief Betty Holland.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today and allowing us to provide an update on our investigation into Madeline Soto's disappearance and death. Madeline was reported missing on Monday, February 26, 2024, just one day after her 13th birthday. Since then, our investigation has been relentless, fueled by the unwavering commitment to uncover the truth. During our forensic investigation, we uncovered disturbing evidence, graphic images, and videos depicting crimes being committed. It was during this examination that we learned we needed to act swiftly to remove the suspect, Stephan Sterns, from our streets. Despite the arrest, our investigation into her disappearance remained ongoing. We understand the importance of thoroughly exploring every lead and piece of evidence. The Kissimmee Police Department, along with other law enforcement agencies in Central Florida, continue their search for Madeline for the next several days following her disappearance, and we turn to the public for help. During this time, our investigators combed through a significant number of tips, and on March 1st, we received information placing Sterns' vehicle in a rural area of St. Cloud, where ultimately Madeline's body was discovered. We are all deeply saddened by the outcome of Madeline's disappearance. The Kissimmee Police Department continues to piece together the timeline leading up to the events that occurred. I want to address some questions we are receiving from the media in everyone's effort to keep the community up to date on this tragedy. At this time, Sterns is facing a total of 60 charges related to our investigation. This includes sexual battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child. These charges reflect the meticulous work of our law enforcement community. Our detectives also are working closely with the State's Attorney's Office for the 9th Judicial Circuit and the Medical Examiner's Office on the investigation. Death investigations are complex. Tasks like forensic analysis and thorough interviews are crucial and require careful attention. It is vital to address these misconceptions in the pursuit of justice while preserving the integrity to the case. During an investigation such as this one, we gather additional information from individuals close to the deceased. Each person interviewed is treated as involved until proven otherwise. This is a standard protocol to ensure all the facts are uncovered. During our investigation, we have interviewed many individuals. Each interview has been vital to our understanding of the case. We are reviewing all of the information we received and are following up on every lead. Attention to detail and the diligence are the most important aspects of this investigation. We are committed to transparency and will provide updates when possible. Madeline's story has touched the hearts of many. Rest assured, our department is diligently working on the investigation. And while we appreciate the public's interest, we must prioritize the integrity of the investigation. We appreciate your support and understanding as we gather the facts. We intend to release additional information in the future, providing more details that we do not compromise the ongoing investigation. We vow to do everything in our power to ensure Madeline's memory is honored with justice. Our detectives are dedicated to pursuing every lead, uncovering every fact, and holding those responsible accountable. Now I will open it up for any questions.
Chief, I have a question. We know that you're working behind the scenes during this investigation to make sure everything is in order.
A little hard to hear, but
I don't have anything new that you don't already know, other than our detectives are working tirelessly day in and day out to ensure, all the facts are uncovered in this investigation.
Chief Holland, is the mother a suspect or a person of interest in this investigation? And also with the videos that you uncovered, is the mother's involvement in these videos?
So everyone that was close to Madeline is considered suspect until we have proven otherwise.
Absolutely. Says a lot.
What actually happened to Madeline Soto?
Well, this is a very sensitive and, it's very intricate. We want to make sure that we uncover every single fact and all the evidence before, we don't want to put a timeline on it, basically, because the detectives are very meticulous in what they do. And we want to be sure that everything is uncovered that possibly can. No, ma'am, we are still waiting on the medical examiner's report.
We all want to know that. How'd you die?
We're still uncovering all of those details. I'm not going to speculate on that until we have the facts.
Chief, can you tell us if Stephan Sterns acted alone in all of this?
We're still uncovering all the evidence. I don't want to speculate whether he was or not.
If you notice that what she's talking about here is she's not saying anything, but what she's saying or what she's not saying is more important than what she's saying. And everybody's basically asking the same two questions. Is Madeline's mom, Jen Soto, involved? And how did she die? Those are the major questions I think people want to know. And they were hoping to get some information. But listen carefully what she's not saying. We'll talk about this when we're done.
Or not, we will wait until the investigation, is completed to make that determination.
As Stephan Sterns said, he acted alone, or what has he said in interviews with you? Since we know he's in jail.
Yes.
What has he told you about other people's involvement, if any?
He has invoked his right to a lawyer, so we have not spoke with him.
Is there any time that you can expect an update for us? The public is asking every single day, and we understand that you're working on the investigation, but we would like to give them something.
I don't want to rush my detectives. I think it's paramount that
Agreed.
they take their time. And, Mr. Stearns is not going anywhere. He's in jail and he's going to be there for a while. So my detectives, I want them to be, just look at every single detail and make sure. But I don't want to give a timeline at this point.
You mentioned you're working closely with the medical examiner. What does that relationship kind of look like, and what information are they able to release to you before that exam is complete?
So not really. I wouldn't say that they've released an information. We depend on the medical examiner's report for our report. So we're going to have to wait until they release that report.
Did you believe there are any additional victims?
No, it appears that this all was isolated to the home.
She was still trying to get a sense of things. Do you still feel like you have more questions than answers at this point?
I think our questions are being answered slowly but surely. For the integrity of the investigation, we have to, keep things close until such time as we hold those accountable for her death.
Chief, do you feel like this is taking longer than it should because Stearns is not speaking?
No, I just think that, sometimes these investigations are just very lengthy. We know that he is in.
I think they put this lady in the firing line. She might as well be in the firing squad right now. She's doing well with what she can say, everybody. It's like when you work for a prison or some a place, you work for a prison or you work for the government, there's things that you just cannot say or you'll lose your job. So although I don't appreciate that, we are the public. And if they mention something that, let's say Jen Soto, let's say they're honing in on Jen Soto and they say something they have and she doesn't know, it could ruin the investigation and that could be getting the evidence could be disposed of.
Is in jail and he is not going anywhere. So the detectives are just making sure they cross the T's and dot their I's. They want to put together, a foolproof investigation.
Chief, is the mother and the family members being cooperative and answering questions? Have they lawyered up? And also the father of Madeline, who is not a Florida resident, is he a part of this investigation or at least being asked questions?
We have interviewed, all those family members that are close. Mother has cooperated. She did give us an interview. So there's, no one is not cooperating other than Stearns.
We know that the crimes were committed in the home. We also have, the date of birth of the person, but we have not confirmed that is Madeline Soto. Would you be able to confirm that information for us?
Right. So all of the charges are with children under the age of 18, and they are protected. Their identity is protected under the law.
So it's gonna expect. It's been a couple of weeks. Nobody's charged for the murder of Madeline. Nobody knows exactly what happened to Madeline. We can expect in the couple of days someone's gonna face charge for the murder of Madeline Soto.
When the detectives put their case together, like I said before, they want to ensure their investigation is tight. We're working, hand in hand with the state attorney's office to ensure, every piece of evidence is revealed and uncovered. So I can't put a timeline on when that might be.
And Chief, with his cell phone, there's one thing to understand here. So he originally went to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. At least that's what we understand. He gave the cell phone to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office then found something on his phone which led to an arrest. In the arrest affidavit from Kissimmee PD, it says he offered his phone freely to Kissimmee PD. Can you kind of explain how that happened? Because I just have a tough time understanding how somebody who's been arrested for something on his phone freely gives a phone up again.
Well, I don't know the intricate details I do know that the Orange County Sheriff's Office and Kissimmee Police Department were working hand in hand, during, the
But we know a big part of that, everybody, because he accidentally reset his phone. He thought that he had gotten rid of the evidence. He didn't realize that when you're doing something like that, over years especially, it's going to be on the cloud. And there's a possibility some of it could have gotten flagged. Now, she's not going to sit there and tell us details. I know everybody, you guys can say whatever in chat. I let everybody have their opinion, but I have to be patriotic, like my background. And I have to say, as much as sometimes police don't do their job, it is their job to do a good job and cross their T's and dot their I's, like I always say. But she's saying a lot if you're actually listening to what she's not saying.
The actual disappearance investigation. So I don't want to speak on exactly how that happened, but it's not uncommon for us to ask someone if they want to, give up their phone.
Chief, is there anything in particular that keeps you up at night regarding this case?
Well, a lot of things keep me up at night. My takeaway from this is talk to your children, families, talk to your kids. Know that there are agencies out there, the abuse hotline, Help Now, that people can report suspicion to. And I would encourage mothers and fathers to have those conversations with the kids and be aware.
Last question.
You think?
Not for anything like this, no, ma'am.
I'm sorry, can you just confirm how long that relationship was?
Almost.
That is still being under investigation. We're trying to get the timeline for that.
We'll get.
This case made out of nowhere for a lot of us. The department learned through all of this so far.
What we just told
Well,
you.
this was a very tragic event. I think that, like I said earlier, it's up to us, up to each family member to have those conversations with your kids and report any suspicion of abuse to your school resource officer, to an adult that's a trusted adult, to any police officer that's out there. So just report it and let the law enforcement community investigate. Okay. Thank you.
All right, we're done with that, and
Hello,
we can
everyone. Thank you so
stop
much.
this, and then we can talk. Let me lower this, take this down so I can address a couple of questions if anyone has any, and just kind of talk about our thoughts. Let me lower the volume. I had to turn it all the way up to 100, and I'm already loud as it is, a loud person. So, yes, I agree about Juror 13, what you said. You don't have to do it by lying to the public, and cops tend to lie. They'll get on the stand and they'll tell you that they lied. That is one of their tactics when they're interrogating, is to actually lie to a person about anything. They can tell, he could have told Stephan Sterns that Jen was in the other room telling everything and to just go ahead and fess up. They could tell him that there's a clown on the other side of the room standing on his head and a bird above him about to shit on him. They can say anything they want. That's part of their tactic. So, yes, and also there's a lot of bad cops, a lot of bad police work, and I agree, but we are the public. And what she didn't say about Jen, when she said that she said she's cooperating, she did an interview. What she didn't say, and what we know, is that she's lawyered up, so she's only talking what she needs to say. She went into a mental hospital to give her some kind of, I don't know, validation, and maybe say that she's a grieving mom. What she didn't say is the mother's fully cooperating and answering all questions, helping us anywhere, filling the timelines, the gaps, which is what they don't know and what they should know by now. So what I suspect is Jen Soto has a lawyer. She's checked herself into a mental hospital so that she can either get her head right, or, that's obviously a tactic. And then the third thing is that she'll flip on him. She's going to be culpable for something, but they can do a Kayla Montgomery thing. You guys just saw it, what Kayla Montgomery did. She was right there when Adam Montgomery was punching her and hitting her and abusing her and changing her body into the ceiling. And guess what? Kayla's either out or about to get out. So what I suspect is that Jen Soto, Madeline's mom, is going to work with the police and tell them anything they know, anything that they found evidence-wise. So that's what I'm thinking, but there's more validation to this. I have much more to play and to talk about. And I'm going to show you this, Miracle Hearts. We're going to play some other videos that validates what you're saying, and we're going to do a tribute to Madeline. We're going to see these pictures. It might make me cry. Miracle Heart says, what bothers me is that I heard the abuse started when Madeline was 8, but that it was before she was 8. Miracle Hearts, when you see a picture of her on Stephan Sterns' shoulders, she was actually younger than that. They were dating from the time she was 8, but it actually may have been 5 or 6 that he started grooming the little girl and the mom. So 8 is a long time, but it might even be longer. And that's why we don't know, because Jen is not talking fully. And that's what the officer did not say. She's fully cooperating. She's giving us timelines. And I don't think that's happening. I think she's giving them what she needs to just to get by. And she's doing a Kayla Montgomery thing. Honestly, that's my opinion. I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. Also, a couple more questions, then I'm going to get to the next thing, and it'll answer some things. Also, they would wait until she was released from the hospital so they don't have to foot the bill. Yeah, maybe they would do that, but also they can't really question her. There's laws when you're in a mental hospital, and if they question her, they can't use that in court. It's just legalities and the I's and the T's, guys. So yeah, it's just it's not good. So let's get into the next one so I can show you this video, because man, I have so many things to say. I don't have a lot of time, but I'll be back on later, and we're gonna do more things. I can go on and on about this particular case, but we're gonna watch this so you guys can see this memorial that Plunder True Crime did very beautifully. And yeah, she has a lot of good information, and I would love to talk to her personally. I tried. So I tagged her in it, and I let her know that I was going to use her information, and it has her name all over it. So I assume it's okay. We're going to play it, and we're going to do a little memorial here, you guys.
Yeah. You can tell. Okay.
I probably just opened this video with that video of Madeline Soto's last birthday. Her last birthday party, she turned 13. She was over her grandma's house. If you can tell, she was wearing that blue dress, that famous, beautiful blue dress. I'm wondering if blue was her favorite color. The one she had, the same ones in the photo and the other video we've seen. This one, she seems, I don't know, more relaxed. I've got to give credit to Galaxia, the Star, Lasprilla, I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names, on YouTube. The description I've seen of this video, her last birthday video recorded by her friend who attended that party at her grandma's house. And it says the translation should read something like, her last sunset, her last sunset. That reminds me of a video I did of Kylie Rodney, and it just said her last sunset. Anyway, her last sunset, she was happy. Madeline was happy, enjoying family and friends without sensing this terrible tragedy that made, and then it kind of trails off. So I don't know who wrote that, but I'm glad she had some time of happiness, some time with her friends. The description also says Madeline Soto, and I guess they mean also my daughter, had to put away her phone after taking some photos, and she asked for more. And so isn't that cute? Like an instance, an opportunity for this young girl to just be a 13-year-old to enjoy.
And we appreciate Plunder. Her name is Lauren, I think, or I can't remember her name. I messaged her. If anyone knows Plunder True Crime, the lady's name, I love her. She's amazing. She's very spiritual. She's got the spiritual things in the background. She talks about her spirituality, and she's an amazing creator. I love her stuff. She does deep dives, and what she does is she goes into like Discord and like all the social medias, Instagram, all that. I don't have time for that, so I have other creators helping me out, so to speak. Hopefully I'll be able to at some point collaborate with them. Sweetie Pie Low I've been talking to, and today I caught her on a live with none other than Reverend Donna. And I got on the phone with them and I got cut off. So, but I did talk to her afterwards, and you guys got to go check out Sweetie Pie Low's latest live. And we'll talk about that too. We can talk about the spirit boxes later on tonight, everybody. I'm into that, but it's another side that I want to show, maybe behind the scenes. I don't know. I haven't decided. Thank you, Plunder True Crime. Let's go.
Enjoy with her friends, taking photos and videos and lighthearted, beautiful humor, just being a little girl, instead of the horror that her alleged stepfather put her through in taking those type of horrible videos, which we won't get into. Now, many of us probably just watched that press conference. If you didn't see the presser, I have it. I'll put it at the end of this video. I captured almost all of it. Unfortunately, someone called me while my phone was on Do Not Disturb, and it kind of interrupted the screen recording, but I think I captured all of it. Even though most people are talking about what we didn't learn, Chief Betty Holland, what she didn't tell us, I think she told us a lot. And I think, like my mother used to say, there's a method to her madness. Most people are saying, why even give a presser? Why not just update us with a tweet? Why did you, if you're not telling us anything? I think there's plenty she told us if we read between the lines. So let's kind of go over that, and then I'll let you watch the presser. In the meantime, I'll try and put a bunch of videos and photos of Maddie. Thank you to that viewer who emailed me and told me where to find these. You know who you are. I know you like to remain anonymous, so I won't say your name, but thank you.
Tata. Bye.
A bunch of photos and videos of Maddie just when she was little, growing up, being a girl, just dancing with family, just speaking in Spanish and English, learning her alphabet. It's so cute. I'll try and intersperse those through this video.
She's so adorable, everybody. Oh my God, I would have took that little girl and gave her a home and made her my daughter's sister. Like, I know that that's not what her mom was doing, but I don't even know. Like this, she's so cute. It hurts my heart to watch this. So I'm watching this, and I don't want to interrupt, but I also don't want to just completely play her content. It's making my eyes tear up to see this baby and then this little girl and know what the end result is. I just can't, because my daughter's 9 and I just remember all this like yesterday.
Where I can. Some of it I might have to overlay with music or not, have the audio because of the song playing. And we'll talk a little bit about something that made me uncomfortable, but maybe that's just what the lens I'm looking through, because I know what happened. Hindsight is always 20/20. So let's talk about what Chief Betty told us without really telling us. First of all, did they give this presser to kind of make someone uncomfortable, to smoke someone out, shall we say? The stuff I caught, the main questions I caught when that reporter asked, basically, was Maddie the only victim, or were there additional victims? Now, of course, they couldn't confirm, yes, Maddie was a victim of Stephan. They didn't add any horrible charges onto him yet. They're still crossing their T's and dotting their I's. The victim's under 18, so they can't say who it is, but Chief Betty did say, no, it appears this was isolated to the home.
Do you believe there are any additional victims?
No, it appears that this all was isolated to the home.
So that's one way of her telling us, of course, yes, Maddie was Stephan's victim, and she pronounced his name Stephan. That's the way supposedly it's supposed to be pronounced according to Google, but he calls himself Stephan. But anyway, she told us that it was isolated to the home. It appears perhaps Stephan isn't part of some ring with tons of victims.
Listen to this part closely because it talks about it being even further back than we think. So, in this, what's her name? Paula. This Paula Mooney, she does her deep dives. Let me tell you, she knows her stuff and she goes on social media. So, I think that she's right about this. Listen close.
Victims, but we don't know all that yet. It is isolated to the home. That lets us know, of course, definitely Maddie was a victim, perhaps only Sterns' only victim. Now, this was interesting. People were asking all about Jen Soto. People were expecting Jen perhaps to even get arrested, to get charges, whatever. I've been checking the court websites. I didn't see her in custody. I didn't see her in VineLink. I didn't see any additional charges, nothing. You know how we went over her traffic violations and stuff and her marriage records, divorce records, family law, whatever, in the last video I made about this case? No, I saw nothing, and I see why. Because Chief Betty said, Mother has cooperated. She did give us an interview. I found that very weird. Mother has cooperated. Okay, good. She cooperated, past tense. She gave us an interview. Does that mean one interview? That seems wrong. That seems like Jen has indeed perhaps lawyered up. Perhaps she's not talking, even though Chief Betty didn't elaborate. You know, she didn't say the mother is talking with us. She continues to cooperate. She said, Mother has cooperated. She did give us an interview. Now, after all this time, Maddie was missing. She went over the facts and all the stuff we know. And then with Maddie being found, unfortunately not alive, Stephan being arrested, don't you think Jen would give the police more than an singular interview? Something's wrong there. So part of me is like, is Chief Betty kind of righteously throwing Jen under the bus? Putting pressure on her to speak? Is that her motivation? There's some reason for this presser happening today. Now, she did say suspect Stephan Sterns has lawyered up. He isn't cooperating. You know, people aren't surprised by that. But when people started honing in again, what about Jen Soto? What's going on with her? Chief Betty said everyone close to Madeline is a suspect until proven otherwise. Now, that's heavy too, and of course they're taking their time, and of course Jennifer is innocent until proven guilty. Again, I haven't been one of these people who's trying to steamroll over her without evidence. I'm just wondering,
thank you.
First of all, why hasn't she given multiple interviews to police? I mean, look at Nicole Kessinger in that case with the horror of the Watts family. Chris Watts doing what he did to his wife and all his children, getting rid of them. I mean, Nicole Kessinger had, I can't even count how many interviews. The ones in person, one in the park, one in one police station, one in another.
Look at those black eyes when they showed Stephan Sterns' eyes. They're just so black. And later on, they're going to show that picture of him when he's shaven, clean shaven, and with those googly eyes, appealing to little girls. All right, let's keep going.
Another police station and all the phone interviews. Wouldn't Jen Soto have provided police multiple interviews by now? That's what's strange. Now I know innocent until proven guilty, and if Jen has lawyered up, of course, the lawyer would tell her stop talking. That's what Stephan has done. He has stopped talking. He's not cooperating. But I feel like, in a way, Betty, was Chief Betty telling us, okay, Jen is still looking sus without saying it? Was it a way to put pressure on Jen? Public pressure? I don't know. So basically, all these things, I think, kind of are giving us clues as to where the police stand. You know, they just started off with, I got to get the address of this PIO. A woman got up there and she gave the address of the public information officer to email. It was hard to understand. I got to go over that part again.
So much for being here. My name is Alibet Suarez. I'm the communications director for the city of Kissimmee. Chief Betty Holland will be providing remarks about the progress of the investigation. After that, she will open the floor for questions. We are not doing one-on-one interviews after the press conference. If you have any questions that are not related to this case, please send an email to kpdpio@kissimmee.gov. At the end of the press conference, you will receive a package with information about the case in English and Spanish. Now, I would like to introduce Chief Betty Holland.
Basically, they just told us, March 1st, they got info placing Sterns' vehicle with the flat tire. I don't know if he had a flat tire for real or not. I've seen like an image where it looked like he had a replacement tire on there. His vehicle, it was near where Maddie's body was discovered, so that tip helped them. They're piecing together the timeline. The media has questions. We know Sterns is facing 60 charges. She's working with the ME, the medical examiner. Now, I do remember requesting from the medical examiner Maddie's autopsy report. I emailed 2 people because it was weird. They had 2 people associated with the coroner's office down there. One person emailed me back.
See, she's doing her due diligence here, and soon we'll know something, everybody. They just want to put the case together in the right way. I have a feeling we're going to know something soon. I said this in the last video, that us YouTubers and people like Paula on Plunder True Crime, this is what she does all day, so they're not going to let up on that, and we're going to find out soon.
He's like, oh, maybe you sent this to me in error, and I apologized because it did look like some kind of EDU address, but I just email everybody I can find potentially associated, and I haven't heard back from the ME yet. I know there's different rules, different laws, different states, but I always like to hear it from the horse's mouth, what the public is allowed to see and what they're not allowed to see. Not that I want the gruesome details, I just want to know, as the public wants to know, like these reporters says, what happened to Maddie? Will she get her justice? Will someone get a charge for taking her away and just harming her the way she was harmed for so many years? And when you look at any of these photos or videos I put nearby, and you look at her as a sweet little girl and what she must have endured. Chief Betty did say death investigations are complex. She talked about misperceptions, but I didn't quite catch all that. She talked about gathering additional info from each person close to Maddie. So, of course, many people, I'm sure, have been interviewed. I'm sure the grandparents and...
Diga, abuelo. Diga, abuelo.
So cute. So cute.
Mari.
Hmm.
Mari, abuela.
So cute.
Llame a Leti.
Llame a la abuela. Abuela. Abuela.
So cute, guys.
Llame a la abuela.
I love babies. So cute.
Diga, abuelo. Abuelo.
Llame al abuelo. Leti, no hagas eso porque ya se va a poner a molestar ahorita. Diga, abuela. ¿Qué es eso? Dame. Diga, gracias. Llame a Leti. Diga, Leti. ¿Dónde está la Leti?
Where's Tuti? Me Titi, right? Me Titi? Me Titi. Now.
Mari. Diga, abuelo. Diga, abuelo.
Uh-oh. Fun.
Abuelo.
Uh-oh. Fun.
So cute. I don't know anybody can harm a baby like that. Remember, we're doing this. We did the press conference, and then we're doing this is just like a little tribute that I'm doing on my channel to Madeline Soto. I also watch Spirit Box episodes, especially the ones that where people help the police officers in investigations. Those are my favorite ones, and if you go watch that, you'll hear what they think that happened and coming through Madeline, coming through the Spirit Box. So again, I don't want to put that on my channel right now because it's just not, I don't want to speculate stuff.
Ahora la va a tirar todo el tiempo.
Of course, other family members, they're committed to transparency. They're following up on every lead, reviewing all info. Chief Betty acknowledged Maddie's story has touched the hearts of many. She has to prioritize the integrity of the investigation, of course, over all of us wanting to know what the heck really happened. They will release more info in the future. They want to make sure they don't compromise the investigation. They want to hold those responsible accountable. So she opened it up to questions. It's like, what new can you tell us? I don't have anything new, she said. And that's when they started asking questions right about Jen. Is she a POI? Yep. Do these videos involve the mother? Everyone close to Madeline is a suspect until otherwise cleared. So that was a big thing to me. She didn't quite say cleared. She said everyone close to Madeline is a suspect until proven otherwise. So of course, at this point, obviously they haven't proven otherwise that Jen was not involved. That doesn't mean she was involved. That means it really takes time. I mean, that's got to be so frustrating. In the case of Riley Strain, the missing 22-year-old in Nashville, other cases I've heard about different cases, how frustrating.
By the way, everybody, Spirit Box nailed the Riley Strain case. So if you go and look up, even if you don't believe in the Spirit Box, just go take a look after and Google Spirit Box, any one of them, Riley Strain. There's a couple good ones out there. And they nailed what happened to him. And yeah, I mean, these people, I don't know what it is, but I'm spiritual. So I believe in, the afterlife and the spirits and things like that. There you go. Let's go.
It must be to get evidence from some of these phone companies, subpoena these social media companies. And, they're so committed to privacy, which is a good thing on one end. But when it comes to a crime being committed, I feel like all bets are off. In that instance, if a child is hurt, give me everything, give the cops everything. They subpoena ASAP. Who was in those videos? Did you hear any other voices? At least thankfully, they were able to get what they got. That Celebrite probably download worked, or maybe they got it from the cloud. Who knows where they got all this stuff? But thank God Stephan's factory reset his accidental factory reset did not work. So wherever they got that, they're talking about it being sensitive and intricate. They have to uncover facts and evidence. They don't want to put a timeline on it, which I understand. They didn't even give us a manner of death. They're still waiting on that report. I suspect it might end up being strangling or asphyxiation or something like that. Who knows? It could be potential drug overdose or,
All right, y'all, there's that picture of him that Carly wanted me to show the other day. And he was using that to look younger, and he's got the dark, googly eyes. But yeah, he's appealing to younger girls. So gross. He looks like a monster. All right. Well, we want to talk about Madeline and hear about the case, but I just wanted to point that out. There's that picture. Just nasty demon. He looked like a demon to me.
Or, Stephan did have that love of weapons you can see on Reddit. So I don't know if he did something like that. Now they were asking, was Maddie's life taken in the home or somewhere else? And Chief Betty said she's not going to speculate. So even though she said the misuse, for example, was isolated, no other victims, it was pretty much isolated to the home. I'm assuming she means no other child victims. I don't know if Jen was any kind of victim of Stephan or not. Did Sterns work alone? She didn't want to speculate there. Has Sterns said he worked alone? No, she said he's invoked his right to a lawyer, so they haven't spoken with him. She, any updates, she doesn't want to rush her detectives. Makes sense. Mr. Sterns isn't going anywhere. He's in jail. Will be there for a while. And maybe that was another point of this presser. People are coming up with questions every day. What's the update? What's the update? When are more charges going to be added? Is Jen going to be arrested? What's going on? Okay, with all of that going on, they want to put something out there. But Sterns will be in jail for a while. The counts he has now are serious enough. So maybe part of this presser was like, calm down, public. We've got this. That's the stance we have to take on some of these cases. I mean, look at Koberger's case out there. Who knows when that'll go to trial? trial. I've seen some of the programs I watch. I mean, stuff goes to trial like 10 years later. I mean, it takes forever. What does the medical examiner relationship look like? When is the exam complete? Chief Betty just says, I wouldn't say they've released that info. That's when they asked about additional victims, and she said it was isolated to the home. So that thing she did make sure, unfortunately, that just means Maddie endured all of that. In those 400 or more images or videos, it was likely all Maddie. Some people were wondering, they got confused again about those charges of he had to have commit one of these things, like a child under 5, or he had images of this, or he did that, or he did that.
Now, she's going to explain in a second, but I'm just going to explain it faster because she talks really slow and she's very calm. I get more hyped up and go faster, and she's also filming it. But when they say the child under 5, this gives you a good idea of how long the relationship's been going on, everybody. It was actually her that was a child under 5 because we didn't see the name, but we saw the birth date, which was consistent throughout the whole thing. So the child under 5 with the same birthday as Madeline Soto equals Madeline. All right, let's keep going. She's going to tell you, but I just get excited.
So some people were confused thinking, oh, there's another child under 5 involved, and they didn't really read what it actually meant. If Chief Betty is saying, in terms of additional victims, no, it was isolated to the home, that must mean all of those images and videos prove it was just Stephan misusing Madeline, even though they can't say Maddie's name in relation to those charges because of the law of her being under 18, because of the law of her being a juvenile. So I think one thing we can kind of surmise for sure is they don't have evidence of Jen being in those videos or taking those videos. Some people wonder, was she in them? Did she take them? Was she participating? Whatever. We don't know for sure, but I feel like of all those 400 or more images or videos they have, obviously, if they had any proof of Jen being in the videos or her voice or taking them or any way, that would have been enough to charge her too by now. So they haven't done that like they've charged Stephan. So I think we can kind of surmise Jen wasn't in them, or perhaps didn't take them in a way that let the cops know she was there. And some people are like, oh, come on, how could she not have known? People don't know what's on their significant other's phone. Again, we don't know if he had these videos right there in the camera roll, if he had them in some kind of app I don't even know about. I'd never heard of the secret calculator app until the Chris Watts case. That's how he communicated with his mistress.
Right.
That's how they sent photos back and forth. And videos. So who knows where Stephan kept these? They talk about it, unfolding slowly but surely. They're keeping things close. They're asking, is this taking longer than it should because Stephan won't speak? Chief Betty is saying no. Detectives are just crossing their T's and dotting their I's. Are the mother and family being cooperative? Have they lawyered up? What about Maddie's dad, her bio dad, they're asking? So the standard answer was, we've interviewed basically people. They've all been interviewed. Mother has cooperated. She did give us an interview. No one basically is not cooperating other than Sterns. But what level of cooperation is Jen really giving? Did Chief Betty really mean a singular interview? I would suspect in this instance, with this type of serious case, Jen would be in there all the time. And sometimes, of course, lawyers tell you don't talk. You're already innocent until proven guilty. Don't talk yourself into a charge. But it seems to the logical mind, not the lawyerly mind, I get it. The logical mind, you would think if Jen literally had no idea, she would be up in the police station like, look, what all do you need to know? I had no idea. Maybe, I noticed she was depressed or sad or anxious, but I never knew this is what it was due to. Maybe she hid it all from me. So I don't know, is that what Jen said in the original interview? Was she just flabbergasted and appalled and blown away when she discovered that Stephan had all these images and videos of Maddie, no doubt, on his phone? How did she react? What is going on? So that's when they wouldn't confirm it was Maddie. All of the charges with kids under 18 are protected under the law, but we know it's her because they gave us the birth date, her February 22nd, 2011 birth date. So we know that matches up. We put 2 and 2 together. Chief Betty talked about when detectives put their case together, they ensure the investigation is tight. True. Maybe because Jen still is out there. Maybe she'll stay out there forever, not arrested again, innocent until proven guilty. I'm not insinuating she did anything illegal.
Innocent until proven guilty, as well as just keep remembering Kayla Montgomery. That's all you got to remember. And she gave us information that we need. So we're going to thank you, Plunder. Does she have some more? Let's see what else. If she goes to the press conference, then I'll drop it out. But I think she does. And then I'm going to go to the next thing.
These are only speculations. With Jen being out there, the detectives obviously still want to keep their cards close to the vest, close to the chest, ensure it's tight, because if they do need to move in and make an arrest, for example, tomorrow, they're not going to display all their cards. Chief Betty today is not going to get up there and say, oh yeah, we suspect Jen might be in this particular video. We're waiting on, they wouldn't give her the chance to run or flee the country or go somewhere where they don't extradite Americans back here. I believe she's from Colombia. I've seen different videos and photos and stuff. And so, they do want to keep everything quiet until they are ready to move. And like Chief Betty said, once they found out what was on Stephan's phone and they knew the danger, like, oh, this guy, they got him on that right away. And that's what one guy was like, wait a minute, this reporter's like, wait, he gave his cell phone to the sheriff's office? He offered his phone freely? And Chief Betty said, I don't know the intricate details. After all, it had moved from one law enforcement department to a different one. So we know it started, I believe, with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. Now it's with the Kissimmee Police Department because of jurisdictions and all that. So of course she wasn't necessarily a part of those initial investigations on Stephan's phone, but the hubris of him to accidentally factory reset his phone on February 26, 2024, the day Maddie goes missing, and then think, oh, I'm handing it over. Don't evil people often do that? People who think they're technologically smart, he loved a lot of Tamagotchis, he loved all these things, Warhammer, all these things. Maybe he thought he was really brilliant. Sure, fine, I'll hand you my phone. Who cares? Thinking. Oh.
And you all know by now that he got caught for that before, right? I'm not exactly sure. There's no police record, but he was filming one of his roommate's girlfriends. He set up a camera in the room or the bathroom or somewhere, and he was filming her, and they found the footage. And Stephan Sterns' mom paid him off to not go to the cops. So I want you to know this is a long history of it, and he's not that smart. We've come to that conclusion. He thought the factory reset was going to wipe it. I'm glad it didn't.
Oh, they won't find anything. I factory reset it. He probably thought he was really techie and really smart. So basically, Chief Betty just talked about not knowing the intricate details about Stephan turning over his phone, but thank God they found all those videos. She just urged us to talk to your kids. They don't even know how long the relationship happened. It's still under investigation. And I know my last video, I kind of thought they met in 2018. I do still believe they began dating in 2018, but internet scuttlebutt tells you they may have met in 2016. So part of me is like, oh, wait a minute. Jen was just still married or starting to get divorced. I'm like, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, they might have been friends. I don't know how they met. I don't know if they met at Disney. I don't know all those details, but sometimes you can learn a lot more from the internet than you can from pressers. But still, either way, I think they started dating in 2018. And I just think of just how young and precious and innocent Maddie was, and just to be so put upon by a monster at that young age. And all of it just blew me away, especially when I saw that June 20th, 2019 photo of Jen, on Insta. They're all chilling in the pool and Maddie is on Stephan's shoulders. And, I just have to give her the benefit of the doubt. I have to stay in the middle. I have to be impartial like a juror until they give us more solid evidence. I need solid evidence of what Jennifer knew and what she didn't know. I'm not going to burn her at the stake or, go after her with pitchforks and everything just to know what the heck happened. Some people, of course, are very angry for Madeline's sake, what she had to endure. What did her mother know? Did her mother not protect her out of ignorance? Did her mother willfully do anything, participate? Or did her mother put this man over her daughter in terms of caring about her? You know, we've seen all kinds of cases. I'm getting all kinds of comments. People are on one side where it's like, leave Jen alone. She may not have known any.
Yep, she's making a good point. I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting people telling me that it's wrong to even say anything. But even if she gets charged or she doesn't, she still was her mother, and she should have paid attention to what was going on in that household. That is your responsibility as a parent to make sure you're communicating with your children and not letting some monster, I don't care if you don't think they're a monster or what, if that's the very least of her culpability. And she needs to cooperate with the police about at least timelines or whatever she can give them. And we saw her on the interview. She kept saying we and they, because it was like a story that he fed her or told her. He just said like, hey, I dropped her off at this time. This is what she was wearing. And she was bringing her memory back to what he had told, since we didn't see her in the car at the time. So keep that in mind. And Paula's great, and she wants to stay in the middle. I get really heated, but I'm still going to say that she is liable for her daughter and that happening. She should have been better.
Anything. You know, unfortunately, people who've been through similar abuse and they say, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my mom. She didn't know. Other people are like, look, my mom knew and she just didn't protect me. And other people are just like, how could she not know? So we won't know until the cops get all their evidence, and then we'll know. I'm sure through.
Okay. I'm going to leave it on that. That she starts getting into what I can say myself, and also, well, it's my channel, and I'm going to say that just be careful with who you bring around your kids, whether it's an uncle, a cousin, a brother. I don't even care if it's your brother. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's their brother, your brother, whose uncle, what person. Watch your kids, talk to them, make sure they're doing okay mentally, and don't give anybody access to your children to do those things, okay? I'm overprotective of both of my kids. My son was younger, I didn't let him go anywhere. My daughter just called me today after school, and she asked me if she could go to a friend's, and I said, no, never. And I hung up, and that was it, done. So I'll pick her up at school after we watch this last thing, because it's coming, and then I'll come back on at 7:00. Watch your kids, guys, ladies, women, whoever has kids, watch them. And watch out for other people's kids too. I do that as well, everybody. I want you to know that. Children, they're beautiful little souls, and they need somebody to watch out for them. So please watch out for other people's kids if you can as well, because they'll talk to you if you ask. Trust me. My neighbor tells us everything about what's going on next door. All right, here is going to be the last part, and we're going to be able to get heated on this. And then at 7:00, I'm going to come back. We'll talk more. Hopefully you guys can, let me see if I can change this so I'm not glitching. Hold on. All right, there. Maybe I won't be as glitchy. I'm going to share this last one, and then we're going to be out and back. Hope you guys like my background. I could change it to anything, but I like it. That's what matters.
All right, update today from the Kissimmee Police Department. We're going to go through those details quickly here. This is a breaking situation.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the show tonight at 8. So I got to hop on, hop off, hop on, hop off. But I wanted to jump in just to give you an idea of what Kissimmee Police said today, but more importantly, what it means. What it means. All right, there's more between the lines than in the lines today in what Kissimmee Police were saying. The chief spoke today, giving an update on the case. Now, you have to understand, for the KPD, it's a smaller outfit. They're not used to necessarily all this attention from all this media from around the country. Okay? Kissimmee, relatively small but efficient department. I think they're very capable in what they're doing and how they're handling all this. But this is a big, big case, and the pressure is on. So I think the chief was feeling that. So the chief, she came out and spoke today about the case. And I think that's good to keep those lines of communication open. But here's the first thing, my first takeaway from the update from the Kissimmee Police Department, which I think is significant, especially here in the world of true crime, how they found her. It was clear, right? We knew this, but it was reiterated and made extremely clear today that it was a tip. It was a tip that led to investigators finding Madeline on Hickory Tree Road. Okay, like we've been saying, it's 22 miles from where she lives. So if you're just searching for a child, it's not necessarily a place you would look. And it wasn't getting.
And this is just following up on what we learned about the press conference, what we're thinking, what he's thinking, and we're all kind of aligned here. And I love that Vinnie gets really heated, and I love to hear his take. And my take is just as important as your take. It's just as important as anybody else's. I'm not going to shut you down, whatever you say. Just don't be rude to me, or don't be rude to the crime crew, but you can say whatever you want about whoever you want, and I'll still respect you. And if you insult me, I'll say thank you, and we'll move on. So everybody say what you want in chat as we listen. Feel free. I do, and I will.
Getting cell phone data off of pings, etc. No. It was a human being who gave a tip. Why is that important? Why is that important? Because in cases like this, and unfortunately, you can't, every case doesn't get the attention that this particular case is getting right now. But cases that get attention get more results. Period. They just do, because of the awareness, right? There's unfortunately, there's missing people, missing children, missing adults, missing parents, and some of them don't get the attention that Madeline got in this case. And as a result, the public doesn't necessarily know, and members of the public might have information that is significant. They don't think it's significant because, number one, they may not know the story, they may not know the case, and they may not know where to go with the information, and have no idea that what they have is significant and important. I mean, same thing happened with Gabby Petito, became such a huge case, and then there were some people who were just YouTubers that were recording one of their videos, and they had information that was very helpful, video that was extremely helpful in the case. So this happens all the time in these cases. So that's why I hate when law enforcement and prosecutors and people say, you know, the YouTubers, the true crime community, the media, the news, you know, they take a case like this and they make a mess of it. No, what they do is raise awareness. As long as people are talking about it, people are talking about it.
Yes,
and as long as people are talking about it, people are hearing about it. And when people are hearing about it, they will
do something about it.
Be able to provide information if they have it. They may not even know that what they know is important or related to a missing person or a murder investigation.
Exactly.
And in this case, it was high profile, and it was a tip. Someone who saw Stephan Sterns changing that tire. That's what led them to that area. That's how they got there. That's why they were there. That's why they found her, and that's why they'll have more evidence than they would have otherwise. Without all the publicity and the public providing the information here, she could still be missing. She could still be missing tonight. But she's not, and thank goodness she isn't. Just hit 1,000. This is not going to be a super long one here, folks. I'm getting into some of the and what I'm doing is hitting some of the big points that were made by the Kissimmee Police Department in the updates today. But where I'm going is between the lines.
Yep. That's all we can do.
Because
right
if you
now.
just read the lines today, you'd say like, oh, well, nothing really happened. No. Things happened today in this update. And that's where I wanted to begin, because it's the significance and importance of what happens on social media, what happens on television, what happens in the local news, what's happening on websites, what's happening on YouTube channels, Facebook, wherever it is. Wherever people are talking about this case, that means people are hearing about it. And when people hear about it, someone who saw a guy changing a tire is like, wait a minute. I think I saw that guy. I think I saw that car.
Yep.
I saw that car and he was changing a tire over in St. Cloud. This case is from Kissimmee, but he was over in St. Cloud changing a tire. And I think I remember where it was. There was this cargo.
Yeah, and without social media and YouTubers like us and these other channels, we wouldn't hear about it. It wouldn't reach so far so fast. We wouldn't be able to catch somebody the next day or the next 4 days or whatever. So the instant communication, these things were happening back then, everybody, when we were told, come home and the street lights go out. It happened. We just didn't hear about it, and it didn't happen. These cases went unsolved for so long because we couldn't get to each other to tell each other. So it is important.
This cargo unit was there, and there was like a little roundabout turnaround area. And that's where he's changing, right across the street. That's where she was found. And the only reason they were there was because of the tip from the public. So great work. Great work by the public. Great work by everyone keeping this story alive. So that's how she was found. And that was really confirmed for me today by the chief of the Kissimmee Police Department. Something else I noticed, the language she was using. She was very specific. Now, talked about Stephan Sterns, right? She acknowledged that he had a lawyer, so he's not cooperating here in this investigation. But she kept using the term, those responsible. Those responsible. And I understand it's just a word.
Now, just pay attention. If you don't know who Vinnie is, he's an ex-prosecutor, so he knows the legal jargon and the language. He's not just a court TV announcer, and he's not just a YouTuber or a Facebooker or whatever. He knows what he's talking about. He knows how to read between those lines. That's why it's relevant what he's saying.
The word. But she's not saying the person responsible. She's saying those responsible. So it's not necessarily definitively a presumption that more than one person is responsible for what happened here to Madeline. But it's a very loud signal that they are considering more than Stephan Sterns. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Not that it's been proven, not that 2 people are going to be charged or 3 people are going to be charged. No. That's not what it is. What it is, though, is that it gives us the status of the investigation. If she's still saying those responsible, that leaves open the possibility in her mind as the chief of this Kissimmee Police Department that this may result in more than one person being charged.
Agreed. And that's what when they're saying those terms and there's using those kind of words where there's multiple people possibly, but they're not saying it. That's what they're saying. By the way, the picture, when I say it wasn't that bad, the one that got leaked, it actually is. I've seen it, and it's basically not good, but it's just like an outline of, you can just see the shirt and the body, but you can't see it up close, and it's real. Yeah, it's not like terrible, but it was a terrible thing that he did just to even know that's what it was. So let's keep going. I don't have too long.
Charged. Okay. I think that's important, right? Because the chief wasn't going to spill much today because there's not an arrest yet. Doesn't want to tip anyone off. But by saying that, it gives us an idea of where the investigation is. They're still at the point now where obviously he's a suspect for obvious reasons. His phone, last person with her, everything, right? Lies about her going to school. But beyond that, beyond just the obvious, you've got
that's background with the dogs, by the way, not mine this time. All right.
An idea that in this case, it's a given that there's one. but there's still a possibility there's more. Like that part of the investigation is not over. Still working on a timeline. And, you know, pieces of the timeline come from a digital footprint, can come from surveillance video, but other pieces of the timeline are going to come from witnesses and people, which could be those responsible. She also said something that we know about in all these investigations, that you begin with the people closest to the victim. And she said today, everyone, I am presuming that anyone connected to her is potentially involved in this. And they're potentially involved until they are cleared.
Right.
Mom has not been cleared.
Nope.
She didn't say that, but she didn't have to say that. She was asked questions about mom. Then she came back to all the people closest to her, to the deceased, Madeline, you know, are presumed to be involved, or we will work under the assumption they're involved until they are cleared. Mom's not cleared. This investigation is continuing. They're working. Yeah, the dog wants me. Mom's upstairs. Don't worry about it. So there you have it. I mean, to me, that was one of the big items I was reading between the lines today. Those responsible.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, she did indicate Stephan Sterns has a lawyer. We knew that once you get charged, you're going to be assigned an attorney, but he's not talking. But she did say mom cooperated, gave a statement, and she's getting cooperation from everyone, which would be, when you talk about everyone, who would that be? That would be people at the birthday party, the family.
Yep. We haven't heard any of that yet,
so
guys.
It seems that they are cooperating, right? Now, I've seen cases where people who were cooperating end up getting charged.
Yep.
So they're not mutually exclusive. It's not like, oh, I cooperate and then I don't get charged. No, like all types of people can cooperate. In the Alec Baldwin shooting case, Dave Halls cooperated from the beginning. He was charged. He continued to cooperate and pleaded guilty.
Yes, sir.
So the second or maybe third, am I on the third, second or third big headline? They, meaning KPD, Kissimmee Police and their detectives, still waiting for the ME's report.
Yep,
That
we all
report's not
are,
done
Vinnie.
yet. So the questions have been, is the report done and we're just not going to see it? She answered half that question. And the half that she answered was, they haven't even seen it yet. So that means no cause, no manner of death. Now, there can be conversations back and forth, but she seemed to indicate we use that report. That's what we use. So even if they have the conversations, a little heads up about what the ME found, she is going to wait for that report. And that's not done yet.
This tells you a lot.
What else from today?
Thanks, Vinnie. We're almost done. I have to go get my
And they're
daughter.
still following up on leads. And when I say leads, it's, you know, information that can lead to something helpful is the way I interpret it. Because I mean, they know who could potentially be. It's not like they're looking for some mystery person now. I think anyone and everyone who could possibly be involved in what happened to her, I think, has been identified at this point.
They just need the whole story done right.
She was asked more questions than answers still, and she says, our questions are being answered. They're making progress. They're not stalled. They haven't hit any bumps in the road. It's plowing along. And she said what I've been saying all along, which is there's no rush here. He's locked up with no bond. 60 charges that if he's found guilty of them, he's gone forever anyway.
Right.
So because he's locked up, she's not concerned about the timeline, the time frame of wrapping up this investigation. Now, they're working with the medical examiner, but also working with the state attorney's office. State attorney's office obviously has the lawyers who will prosecute the case, but most state attorney's offices have their own investigators as well, who help put the case together. And if you're Kissimmee PD and you have a case of this magnitude, with this many eyes on it, that's, you know, potential for the ultimate punishment, you're going to want everything lined up beautifully. So They're working closely with the state attorney in the 9th district down there and working with the ME's office, but still waiting for that report. So the medical examiner in no rush here. Toxicology might be a big deal here, right? Toxicology could be a big deal here because it could impact, and we don't know what's been found so far, could impact cause, manner of death, time of death.
And far.
So still a lot to happen here. Still a lot to happen in this case. Happy Gnosis, Vinnie in the house. All right. Thank you, Happy Gnosis. Yes, we are here.
All right, everybody. Now, you guys can all go over to Vinnie and follow him. I wanted you to hear the main points, everybody. I wanted you to get a better understanding of what the Nothing Burger really was. And like I said, when I watched it, I was like, okay, they didn't actually give me more information outright, but I had to think about it. I had to cogitate on it. I always have to cogitate on stuff because I come back with a different result after I do that, and I really think about it, because I can be like Vinnie as well and be very like hyper and like super sure of myself and like, oh yeah, but I want to be level-headed about it, and I don't want to say stupid things because stupid things make stupid people say other stupid things, and then it becomes like the Delphi case where people are fighting with each other and there's no justice being done. So we don't want to see that in this case. They know everything they need to know. They're going to let us know when they do. And I will be back in a couple of hours, everybody. I'm going to go pick up my baby girl. I'm the mama bear. I'm one of the mama bears. And I love my daughter, my son so much. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm not monetized yet, but I know that I will be soon because I'm getting all of you wonderful people that are liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I will be back in 2 hours, and I'm going to be a lot more hyped up about the next case because it's not so heart-wrenching. It's just gross. And yeah, we're going to talk about, you'll check out my page. You'll see what we're going to talk about. I'm not even going to tell you. If you don't know, you'll know. All right, everybody. So have a good one. I'll be back at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I appreciate everybody new. And everybody say a prayer or whatever that you do for little Madeline Soto. And may she rest in peace. On that note, I'm out.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?